On the bench today, we have a pair of Plantation chairs in a colonial British West Indies style. Now, I have had these chairs for quite some time, and they were in bad shape when I got them. The finish was mostly worn off, although there was some left flaking. They were really just gray and black just from wearing out in the sun, and they had a really worn sort of cotton fabric upholstery, very thick on them. I came across them in our storage unit some time ago, and I thought in the back dark corner, hey, those look pretty good. Let's take them out and put them back into service. When I got them into the sunlight, in much worse condition than I remembered. So I've taken a sander to them just to see what sort of wood, what sort of finish, if they were restorable or if I just had to paint them. And this is what we've got. I've also taken the upholstery off. We'll get into that, and that has revealed a few things. So let's take a closer look at this, get our peepers on it, walk around a bit, and see what we're dealing with, and get a plan for restoring these chairs. So the first thing I noticed with the fabric and the upholstery off, a couple of things. The braces down at the bottom here have been removed. This has been altered. This was not the original upholstery. And if I even take a closer look at this inset, I wouldn't call it a channel, it's actually pieces attached, screwed into the main frame. This is what the upholstery was attached to. A couple of things. When I was taking off that upholstery, there were thousands and thousands of upholstery staples in, and those upholstery staples were over the top of other upholstery and upholstery staples. It took me quite a long time to get those out with my upholstery removal tools. And then in the end, I had to take my grinding wheel down to those staples and get a smoother finish. See if you can get in here and take a look at how many staples, just an idea of how many staples we had in here. There's thousands of thousands. Now, prior to being upholstered and reupholstered so many times, I suspect that this was not originally upholstered. Again, if we get in here, there's a lot of hand tooling marks on this original wood. I see an awful lot of screw holes or other holes in here. I suspect that this was caning on here. Could have also been slats, wood slats. I don't see much evidence of wood slats, but certainly the structure of the seat area has been modified, and I think this is a new piece. Yep, definitely new piece up front. Additionally, if I measure all of the dimensions of the chair, these two chairs are not identical, and I suspect even further this was a vintage handmade chair. Overall, though, we're dealing with a very sturdy chair, even though there have been some repairs made over the year. What I think we're going to do, I have an awful lot of scraps of Cuban mahogany, but I also have some African mahogany and Honduran mahogany. What I think I'd like to do is put slats either back in this chair or in this chair, which is fairly common as well in this style of chair. Now, again, I've got a lot of variations of mahogany. I also have some weathered mahogany logs, and I think I'd like to use those variations to give this chair some character, if you will, almost a natural striping, if you will. A couple of other things to take note of here. This chair is not this chair is not the same width all the way down. Widest down at the base, gets narrower as the seat comes back, and then it is narrowest way up here. The other thing we can take note of is that, whoa, there's a continuous curve to this seat. There's no real flat part to the seat or to the back here. So I don't think I want to use very wide slats. I suspect something about an inch and a quarter wide, and each one of them will have to be custom cut. So let's get to starting to mill some of this scrap wood into blanks, and then we'll cut them all to size. We'll also make these repair pieces for the missing seats in the bottom of the chair. Now let's get each of these to their final width, which will be 1 3/4 inch wide. Our final milling operations on these pieces is going to give it an 1/8 of an inch round over, but before we do each one, we've got to cut them to length. So I'm going to start up in the front here, measure each one, and cut them individually to length. You'll also notice that we're going to have to notch this first one out around these, around the legs here. First I'll cut it to length, and then we'll just notch those out. And you can see that gave us a nice rounded over edge on each of the face corners. My wife has kindly finished all of these slats for me. Here, this is just part of the 50-some slats. But you can already see the wonderful color variation that we have here across these slats. Let me go get the rest of them, and then we will start installing them. By the way, each of them is marked on the back here with which chair they go to and what number of slat they are. Just look at that. Oh my gosh. Here's some of the weathered pieces. Here's a piece of Honduran mahogany. Most of this is Cuban mahogany. That's probably Cuban. Yeah, let me get the rest. BRB. Okay, here are the final pieces. Just look at those color variations. This is going to look fantastic. All right, it's time to start attaching these. I'm going to sort them first. They all have a number on the back of them. We'll put those in order. I'm going to get 3 drills ready. Okay, let's get all these C's out of the way here. Focus on our letter B's. Letter B, letter B. Remember that from Sesame Street? When they did the Beatles song? If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, you know, look that up on the YouTubes. Probably from the 60s, early 70s, I'd have to guess. Something like that. Okay, this is going to be a bit tedious because for each of these, we will have to lay its piece in place. Starting at the front here, we'll drill a pilot hole that goes through this strip. We're going to mount all of these from the back so we don't see the screws from the front. We'll drill a pilot hole through into the slat. Then we'll take the slat off, widen that pilot hole only in this mounting strip with a small countersink in it. And then finally we'll come in and screw that piece in from the back side. Put a little spacer in. I don't want them butted right up against each other. Some moisture, rain, whatever can seep through, but also to give them some room to expand and contract. So let's get started on numero uno. Number 1 piece to fit in just like that. One slat in. Let's have you take a look at that from the front now, would you? Could you? Just have a look at that first slat. There's just one more bit of milling to do here. Where these braces were removed in the seat, I've made some bigger stock here, some blanks. I'll cut those to length. Then I need to notch them out so they sit in here and are flush with the top. Take those over to the bands. Actually, no, we'll do these by hand. Okay, we've got our notches out of either end. Let's see how that goes. Perfect. Well, I'm out in the shop this morning and it smells of fresh rain, salt air, and a bit of varnish because I stayed up late last night cutting and installing the rest of the slats and then wiped on one final coat of spar varnish. You notice that the chairs aren't here this morning. I took them out early so I could have a cup of coffee on them and the front porch, and they look fantastic. Let's go out to the front porch and have a look at the final product. Thanks for watching the video, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Little bit of a spoiler alert. This is the last time for a while you'll see me in this shop. You may notice some things are missing. We're building out a new shop. We're headed north. It's starting to get hot in Key West for the summertime. So we're going to build out a new shop for the summer up north. Come and join us, watch and see that transform. Thanks again. Chris Schmidt signing out from Key West.